I'm gonna be honest with you, graduate from Washington, but I always wanted to be a Williamston Tiger, man. Rich tradition, small community, small neighborhood. And Washington was just so huge. But Williamston was a small area, man, but had some talent coming through here. So, I always heard great things about Harold Robinson from my stepdad, Ricky Griffin. They played for Harold Robinson back in the day. Them guys were smash mouth with Herbie Rogers and Hank Tice and Jim Bob and all those guys that go way back there. But, Harold Robinson, he was the type of guy I was told, my stepdad said he would come right to your mom's house right in White City, come right in the house, sit there, talk to your parents, talk about, hey, I want this man on my football team. He instilled toughness, wanted the kids to do the right thing. That was a kind of inspiration to me, even Herman Boone. One of my favorite movies is Remember the Titans. Movies like that, Facing the Giant, I always looked up to those guys, So being a father figure, it's something that you got to pull out of these kids, man. You can always have talent on your team, but you got to have a coach in place that knows how to tap into his young men's mind and bring what they need out of them. It's some coaches that can't bring those things out. So I thank God and I praise God for being able to bring those things out of these young men. I have guys on my team that play football for the first time. For example, Quali Bass Knight, start receiver for the varsity high school right now. Last year was his first year ever playing football. And I will never forget the day he came to my classroom and he introduced himself to me. He was so respectful. And I'm talking about a young man that started both ways for me. We moved him, had him at outside linebacker, moved him to free safety. Then he played and scored on offense. So, the biggest thing for me right now is just to find those diamonds in the rough. It's kids walking through these schools that is talented, but not only just looking from a talent aspect, but looking for a young man where I can sow something in his life. Maybe I can teach this young man, not want to choose the streets, not want to choose the gang life, maybe a young man I can steer in the right direction, being that father figure. I've seen young men that will listen to me, man, and I hate to say it, sometimes they wouldn't even listen to their own parents, but, whatever I could do to stand in and bridge that gap, that's what I'm willing to help, Mom. We have some single moms, I want to be that father figure that I can. My son is blessed, and I tell him oftentimes, but I want to instill something and sow that back into these kids that don't have that father figure at home, So as of right now, man, it's a lot of greats that came through Williamston, man, a lot of greats that came through Williamston. You're talking about my AD, Coach Tice, and Coach Antonio Wiggins. He was a part of that group when they went undefeated one year. They was a great team, Andre Core, Alonzo Ransom. They had some talented guys on that team, and so, to have that team like I had last year, with Jason Shepard and those guys, they were very talented. Jaquavius Shepard, I had him as well. Anthony Killebrew, those were guys I coached in 10U. But I believe this group I got this year is very special. Have a strong 7th grade group that is tough, that will hit you in your mouth, that I can say, and my 8th graders know this ain't no disrespect to them, and they admit it. My 7th grade group this year is way more talented and aggressive than my group from last year because they played football. That was something Coach McGee and them got the young rec football program started, and they got it rolling at Gaylord Perry Park. And Coach Wiggins, he could tell you, he a part of that group. Them guys at Gaylord Perry Park, they get those guys playing from flag to 8U to 10U to 12U. And these kids, I went to their practice yesterday, and those kids were out there thumping. Dust was flying up, aggressive. So great football is about to come back through on the eastern side of Martin County, Shout out to my buddies out there at South Creek. I like them guys, love those guys. But, I always say Riverside is the best side. Ain't no side like it now. But we're around here, we're very physical. We're very disciplined, from now we're changing the culture. It was something I wanted to do here. We had some young men that would listen to me and Coach Markel Freeman because, they wanted to play basketball. They wanted to play football. So now they're starting to get it, doing the right thing, saying no, sir, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, no, Sam, no, ma'am. So it's something we want to instill them at a young age. So maybe when they get older and get a job, they can go somewhere far and that discipline to stay with them. So I'm looking for great things this year. I'm going to be honest. I ain't being bold. So I'm looking to go back to back. It is what it is. Hey, we get in this thing to continue to do what we do, and that's win football games, and that's what I plan to do. So I'm going to let you know right now, we're coming. We'll be next week at Tarboro down in Edgecombe County. My boys, we want them. We ain't duck, we ain't running, we ain't hiding from nothing. I went to Washington High School. I went to Washington when we played Tarboro. Tarboro didn't start winning them state championships till after we left. No disrespect. I'm just gonna be honest. So I don't know that Tarboro. I just know that Tarboro what I see on TV. So if you can get these kids at a young age and be optimistic, that was something we talked about in my classroom today. When we get off that bus and it's time to go to war, you better get your shield, okay? Get on your horse and get your sword and let's go to war. And if you're scared, you need to stay back home to the castle with the women and the children. That's our philosophy. We're physical. That's what I instilled in them at a young age. Be physical, fellas. So if they can keep that same physicality here, they can take it to the high school with them, man. It's fun, man. I just love it, just being a part of these guys' life and seeing these kids grow up to become great young men.